Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. My name is JGOD, and in today's video we're going to focus on the evolution of pistols in Call of Duty. And as you can tell from the background and the title, we're going to be specifically focusing on the Black Ops series. So what that means is we'll be covering 19 different pistols, starting off with Call of Duty Black Ops, moving to Black Ops 2, then to Black Ops 3, and then finally with Black Ops 4. I think it's always fun to go ahead and make a multi-COD video because I get to go back and try out some of the older Call of Duties and get that little nostalgia from playing the game again. The other thing that's pretty cool is even though I played these games back when they first came out, it was definitely nice to go back, try them out, and see how they feel from game to game. So let's go ahead and get into the breakdown. We're going to start off with Black Ops 1. If you do enjoy the video in any way, please remember to hit that like button. And if this is your first time to the channel, I typically cover Call of Duty news, in-game updates, best class setups, subscriber breakdowns, as well as other tip and trick videos on how to improve a Call of Duty. So if any of that's the type of content you typically watch on a regular basis and you do actually like the video, please go ahead and subscribe and turn notifications on so you can find your way back to the channel. Starting off with Black Ops 1, they had a total of 5 different pistols, and the first one we'll go ahead and take a look at is the ASP. This particular weapon only had one attachment, and that was the ability to dual wield. So this first little clip of gameplay that you're watching in the background is without that dual wield attachment, obviously. Just running around, there's no other attachment. It only had 7 bullets in the magazine. So it's definitely a little bit harder to go on a long streak with this type of pistol. But you can see it is very accurate. Not very strong, but it is very accurate. And once we switch to that dual wield, you can see that the weapon performs just a little bit differently. You're not able to aim down sights, so you're not going to take out anyone at range, but you are able to put people down rather quickly. So overall, with my playtime with this particular pistol, not very memorable in my opinion. So the second pistol we'll go ahead and take a look at is the M1911. This pistol actually had 4 different attachment options. One, you can actually change up the sight. The other one, you could have extended ammo. The other, you could dual wield. And lastly, you could put on a suppressor. Overall, it actually felt like this weapon was a lot weaker than that ASP, but the advantage that this one had over the ASP is that I could actually run extended mags, so I could run with 14 bullets instead of 7. So even though it's very accurate, at the end of the day, it doesn't feel strong enough. You're going to get outgunned because of the lower time to kill in Black Ops 1. And when I switched over to dual wielding, it felt a lot stronger, but the downside was that you're not able to equip 2 attachments in Black Ops 1. So it's almost better to actually have 14 bullets in one gun instead of it split between 2. I went ahead and actually tried the weapon out with the suppressor as well. Obviously, since you're only able to run 1 attachment, every particular class setup with different attachments is going to feel completely different. So I went ahead and gave it a shot, and the gun feels even weaker than it did at the first time. So overall, the M1911 is pretty weak. I would probably go with the extended mags if I had to choose between those different attachments. So let's go ahead and move on to the next pistol. The next one we'll go ahead and take a look at is the Makarov. Hopefully I'm saying that right, but the Makarov had several attachments as well. You could have a specialized sight, extended mags, dual wield, or a suppressor. Overall, when I took the Makarov into a match, it felt a lot like the ASP. Almost exactly like the ASP, but the added advantage that you were able to have extended mags and a suppressor. Obviously not at the same time, but you had the option. So as you can see from the gameplay in the background, I am showing off that dual wield aspect of these weapons. You get 8 bullets in each of the pistols. That's a little bit different than the 1911, but overall they perform pretty solid. You get close range, you put people down very fast. And obviously right now I've switched to the suppressor, so now you can kind of see how that looks as well as how that sounds. It is definitely noticeably quieter when you fire those rounds. So next pistol we'll go ahead and take a look at is the Python, which in my opinion was the best pistol from my experience going back and playing the game. And this particular one had 4 different attachments. It had an ACOG, snub nose, speed reloader, and dual wield. After going through all the different attachments and figuring out what I liked best, I definitely love the speed reloader. It actually allowed you to get into multiple engagements, reload really quickly, and be able to take down multiple targets. So as you can see from the ACOG sight, it actually looks a lot like the sight you can equip to the Mozu. And even though this is a pretty good attachment, the downside is that reload speed. I actually didn't notice a difference in the snub nose, so I went ahead and moved to the dual wield attachment. And as you can see right here, the reload time is actually pretty quick. I don't even know how that's possible. You just lower the gun, bring them back up, fully loaded. Makes no sense to me. So it's kind of like you got 2 attachments in one with this one. But like the rest of the dual wield, it's pretty much only useful at point blank range. So the last pistol in Black Ops 1 was the CZ75. And this particular one was a semi-auto pistol, had several attachments as well. When we go ahead and take a look at those attachments, you get upgraded iron sight, extended mag, dual wield, suppressor, and full auto upgrade. Since this one's pretty similar to the ASP and the Makarov, I'm going to go ahead and skip the ones that duplicate over. I'm going to focus on that full auto aspect. So by making the switch to that full auto weapon, there's a significant difference. Pretty much you just hold the trigger, so you don't have to worry about how fast your trigger finger is. You can put people down pretty quickly. The only downside is that ammo capacity with only 12 rounds. And since the reload speed isn't all that bad, I think you could actually use this as a primary weapon. This one and the Python are probably the only two. The other ones you'd have to make sure you're playing very conservative and very smart. And that covers all 5 pistols that were in Black Ops 1. Let's go ahead and transition into Black Ops 2. And just like Black Ops 1, you were able to dual wield all the pistols in Black Ops 2. The only difference was in this game they had a way more attachments that could be equipped. You can actually equip up to 2 attachments if you use the right wild card. But for whatever reason, when you dual wield, you're unable to actually access any other attachment. So the first pistol we'll go ahead and talk about is the 5.7. And this particular pistol, right off the bat, switching from Black Ops 1 to Black Ops 2 is hands down better than all 5 of the pistols that we looked at so far. And when I switched to dual wield, they were still pretty disgusting. You can see how they perform. You can just spam those triggers. The hipfire spread is not that far apart, still pretty tight, and you can absolutely destroy with 20 bullets in each magazine. So the next pistol we'll go ahead and take a look at is the TAC 45, which is described as a semi-auto pistol with high damage at close range. And I actually had a lot of fun with this pistol. Even though it has half the ammo capacity as the 5.7, still pretty deadly, puts people down pretty quick. So as you can see, I transitioned to dual wield just to see how that compared to using the single pistol. And even though they're still very strong, I don't know if it's worth the trade-off to lose all that range. And like I said with the previous pistol, this one is definitely better than all the different pistols that we covered in Black Ops 1. At this point in my playtime, it almost seemed like the devs made a conscious effort to make it so pistols could be used as a primary weapon when they started development on Black Ops 2 when compared to Black Ops 1. So next pistol we'll go ahead and talk about is the B23R. And this is the first time we're actually being introduced to a burst pistol in the series so far. What's actually pretty crazy about this pistol when compared to all the previous pistols that we've seen so far is that it actually has a 1 burst kill potential. If I'm close enough, I hit all my shots in the entire 3-round burst, the time to kill will actually be one of the fastest in the game. And after switching to dual wield, I definitely prefer using the single weapon because that accuracy is so important when you need to land those bursts. So this next pistol we're going to talk about is the Executioner, and this one's very different. It fires 28 gauge shotgun shells. So it's basically a shotgun pistol, which is actually pretty funny because when I did the evolution of shotguns video very similar to this one, so many people brought up this particular weapon and said, where's the Executioner? So it's definitely nice to be able to actually talk about this one in the video. So after spending a little bit of time with the Executioner, it's funny how much this weapon actually feels like a shotgun. And I think the main reason for that is since it does fire those shotgun shells, you do get that inconsistency with your damage output. So sometimes it'll be 1 shot to kill, sometimes 2, and sometimes 3. The same way a shotgun can feel at times. After switching to the dual wield, there was way too many hit markers, so it seems like it'd be the best bet to stick with the single pistol. So moving on to the last pistol we have left to cover in Black Ops 2, which is a fully automatic pistol called the Cap 40. And when trying out this full auto pistol, it was actually a lot of fun. It didn't feel anything like that full auto weapon we saw in Black Ops 1. And I think the main reason this weapon was so fun to use is because it has a relatively quick time to kill and fast reload. And pretty much like all the other pistols in Black Ops 2, the second I switched to dual wield or akimbo, the weapons felt like garbage. And that pretty much wraps up the pistols in Black Ops 2. If you have enjoyed the video in any way so far, please remember to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. We're now going to go ahead and make that transition into Black Ops 3. And in Black Ops 3, there's actually 6 different pistols to choose from. The first one we'll be focusing on is the MR6. And when using this pistol, it reminded me a lot of that 5.7 pistol that we saw in Black Ops 2. So I think this is the part in the Black Ops series where we start seeing weapons fill a clearly defined role. This one's very accurate, pretty reasonable time to kill, pretty fast fire rate if you have a decent trigger finger. And just like the previous Black Ops titles, you are able to run these akimbo with that restriction to just the akimbo attachment. And the next weapon we'll look at, oddly enough, is a burst fire weapon that reminds me a lot of the RK7, which we'll see in Black Ops 4, as well as that B23R that we've already seen in Black Ops 2. And when I attempted to use this weapon, all it felt like to me was a nerfed version of that B23R. And the main reason to me it felt so weak is because you lost that 1 burst kill potential. So oddly enough, running a dual wield or akimbo actually felt stronger for whatever reason. The next pistol we'll go ahead and take a look at is the Karnage, and surprise, surprise, it actually fills one of the roles that I was talking about previously. And this one fills the role of that full auto pistol. And the nice thing about this particular pistol, even though it's full auto like some of the ones we've seen before, it actually performs a little bit differently and feels a lot like an SMG with lower ammo capacity. And when I went ahead and used the akimbo with these, it felt like the time to kill was very fast when you were within a certain distance. But when you're beyond that distance, you're basically not going to kill the guy. So the next pistol we'll go ahead and look at is the Marshall. And since I didn't play loads of Black Ops 3 to get every single DLC weapon, I had to actually jump on one of my friend's accounts. So go ahead and check him out down in the description below. His name is Qewzee. He is another Call of Duty content creator that also streams about 6 times a week. What's funny about this particular pistol slash shotgun, it actually fires those shotgun shells the same way the Executioner did. And because the gauge, I think it has a little bit tighter spread. And if I'm being honest with this weapon, is probably the worst we will cover today. And the main reason for that is because if you don't kill the person in one shot, you're pretty much dead. So that's probably one of the better reasons to actually run it akimbo, because if you are unable to finish them off with that first shot, hopefully the second shot will finish them off. So the next pistol we'll go ahead and take a look at is the Rift E9. And this one's different from all the other pistols we've seen so far for 2 different reasons. First off, it fires a projectile, so it's not hit scan like all the other weapons that we've seen so far. But wherever your crosshairs are, you're going to have to lead the shot just a little bit if the target is moving. So at very close ranges, this weapon does very well. Once you stretch that distance just a little bit, it's going to be a lot harder to get those one-shot kills or even hit your target. And out of the 14 pistols that we've seen so far, this is the first one that does not let you dual wield or run them akimbo, which is actually pretty interesting because that's going to lead us to the future pistols that do not allow you to run akimbo or dual wield. So the last pistol we'll go ahead and cover in Black Ops 3 is the 1911, and this one's very similar to that M1911 we saw in Black Ops 1. And what I mean by that is it's below average, doesn't have a lot of ammo, and probably not worth grinding to get as a DLC weapon. And when running these akimbo, they perform just a little bit better than they did in Black Ops 1, but again, nothing special. And at this point, we'll go ahead and transition into Black Ops 4. And now that you guys have come on this journey with me through the Black Ops titles, you're going to realize that all these pistols are copy and paste. The first pistol we'll go ahead and talk about is the Strife pistol. And now that I have an opportunity to compare these to the previous Black Ops titles, I'm going to say that pretty much this is a nerfed version of the 5.7 from BO2 and the MR6 from BO3. Obviously, the devs went ahead and made a huge change to the multiplayer when they increased the health to 150. But the majority of weapon categories still do a lot more damage, but it seems like they neglected the pistols. Even though they went ahead and added those super attachments called operator mods, they didn't allow you to run one pistol, dual wield, or akimbo. And like I mentioned at the start of Black Ops 4, the copy and paste does not end here. And the next pistol we'll go ahead and talk about is actually a burst firing pistol called the RK7. So this is identical to the RK5, but even weaker than that version, which was weaker than the previous version. And what's actually really sad about this burst fire pistol is that it is weak even in hardcore, when pretty much every gun is one shot to kill, which is actually pretty sad. And the next pistol we'll go ahead and talk about is the Mozu revolver. And although we've seen plenty of revolvers throughout the Black Ops titles, this has to be by far one of the best. And what makes this particular weapon so special is that it has an operator mod, which makes it so that if you land one bullet to the head, it is insta death. So it basically has the damage output of a sniper to the head, but the mobility and fire rate of a pistol, which is absolutely broken. So after going through all 19 pistols, this has to be one of my favorites. Let me know down in the comment section below, now that we've gone through all the Black Ops titles, which particular pistol was your favorite? Also, if you'd like to see another evolution of a particular weapon type, go ahead and spam that down in the comment section below so I know what direction to take that next video. And that pretty much just wraps it up for the video. If you did enjoy the video in any way, please remember to hit that like button and subscribe. If you're still watching this point, you probably enjoy my commentary or my content. So go ahead and make sure you subscribe and turn those notifications on by ringing that bell. And just a quick disclaimer in case it wasn't obvious, because a lot of people were asking how did I get these easy lobbies when I did my shotgun video. All the gameplay in the video was recorded with bots in a private lobby. And I actually did that for 3 different reasons. One is because the older Call of Duties have a lot of lag and sometimes even hackers. And the second reason was that I just wanted to feature the weapon. I didn't want to have to worry about a best class setup. And the last reason, which is probably the most important, which is I wanted to play on different maps. If you go back to the older Call of Duties, 9 times out of 10, you're going to play Nuketown 90% of the time. So hopefully that decision didn't impact your experience at all. And lastly, appreciate all the support on the channel. Thank you for watching. And as always, have a great day.